My name's محمد القفاري.
أنا محمد القفاري.
I'm محمد القفاري.
31st of December 2021.
اليوم 31 ديسمبر 2022.
Today is the 31st of December 2023.
I'm 15 years old.
عمري 16.
And I'm 17 years old.
I've almost 600,000 on TikTok, 50,000 on Instagram, and 10,000 lovely people on YouTube. This is crazy. I don't even believe it sometimes.
عندي 864 ألف على التيك توك، 268 ألف على الانستغرام، وتقريبا 50 ألف على اليوتيوب.
I have 1 million on Instagram, finally hit it. I have 860-ish on TikTok. Haven't grown much on TikTok. Almost 100k on YouTube.
194,000 Google results come up when you search my name, محمد القفاري. That is so many. That's like 200,000. That's a quarter of a million.
400,095 نتيجة.
I don't know how much it would be. Because I was 198 2 years ago. 400. I think I'm gonna say 600. 592. Interesting. At least my estimate was right.
My most liked post on TikTok has got to be the one with the names. On TikTok, I was like jumping around like, hey, كيف تقول اسمك في لغة? I think that was my most popular one. And on Instagram, it has to be the one where I smacked my face with a broom. I was making a video and then...
أتوقع شيء جاب مرة يعني عالي. حلقات سفير المشلح هي اللي صد يعني ما شاء الله تبارك الله ناجحة سنة 2022. ولا بعد ذكر أنت في مقطع جاب نص مليون لايك وهي جملة واحدة بسيطة لازم تحفظها. سويت تحدي بيني وبين أبوي.
I think the highest liked on TikTok is the stupidest video I have ever made in my life. It was a video that I had painted my nose white. Basically, I had a kind of a bet between a friend where he's like, the algorithm is just luck. So I said, it's not luck. If you do the right things, you can get a viral video. I painted my nose white. I put an interesting topic. I did the whole thing, and it got 500,000 likes. So that's my most on TikTok. On Instagram, I don't even know if I can check. I think most recently it was a picture I posted. Let me see. I think the most liked post I have is actually this one, where it's just a picture of me in Egypt, just a few with me and my father and stuff. So yeah.
I have an iPhone 12 Pro. I bought this back in October 2020, so it's been an entire year with me. It's been an absolute tank. The screen hasn't broken yet, so far so good. I do need to replace the battery though. It's kind of dying, kind of quick.
بس توي شاري ايفون 14 برو لأن صارت مشكلة بجوالي القديم والمساحة ما قدرت تكفيني على اللي احنا نشطح عليه فجوالي ايفون 14 برو لون أبيض.
So I have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, still in white. So I broke my last phone because I dropped it in Taboola, then dropped it on the ground. And so I had to get a new phone, yeah.
أتوقع ممكن كل مرة أطلع أقابل شخص أو شخصين أو ثلاثة قد يعرفوني أو يتابعون المحتوى.
Do you know what I never expected? Was that I'd ever have an issue outside of the Middle East. So now whenever I go to Oxford Street, whenever I go to Mayfair, Bond Street, I typically have to wear a face mask or something, which I don't really complain about. It's actually quite fun. But here's a funny story that happened to me in Riyadh last year. This is probably one of the best interactions I've ever had with someone on the street. I was walking with my friend Turki Radhan. So walking down in Riyadh front, and we were going from the exhibition center to the cafe district. And so as we were walking, two girls stop us and they're like, oh, excuse me, do you guys know where the exhibition is? Like, oh, you just walk straight down and you'll find it. And then she had that look on her face. She was like, are you Muhammad al-Qifari? I'm like, yes, hello. It was the biggest coincidence ever. She was just looking for the exhibition center and yet she was completely shocked. That is probably one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had. It was just, the look on her face was, it was extraordinary.
Muhammad from 2022. Don't give up. You're this close. Because whenever I get bored, because I get bored really easy, whenever I get bored, I'm usually just this close from succeeding. So Muhammad, just keep going, please. It's closer than you think.
فلو بعطي هدف ل 2023 محمد لا تنسى ليش بدأت ولا تنسى وش ودك توصل عليه.
I remember going through somewhat of a mini crisis at the time because I was making a lot of videos and I was obviously getting a lot of views, but I feel like I kind of left, or I wasn't doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing originally. My goal had kind of disappeared. And alhamdulillah, I've slowly gotten back to what I wanted to do originally, and that is to talk about self-learning, to talk about education, to talk about improving yourself and becoming the best version you possibly can, about culture, language, and everything. But, from what I've learned from the last year, if I was to give some advice to Muhammad of 2024, I'd say, do not forget the importance of having a team. If I had a team from day one, whoa, everything would be different. I think it was last year or the year before. I think it was last year I had completely burnt out. I think for a solid few month period I couldn't make any videos. Even when I started uni this year, there was a very long period of time I didn't really make any videos, and that's because I genuinely was burnt out. I couldn't do everything by myself. I couldn't do the YouTube and the TikTok and other people's channels, everything by myself. And so the team is important. Alhamdulillah, you know, I've started Studio Al Hayth now. I have a whole team of editors, of designers, of incredible cinematographers. Yeah, team is key. Never forget that.
I admire Steve Jobs.
الشيخ أحمد ديدات.
I'm really struggling to give an answer other than Steve Jobs. I think this year, I think I reread his biography, or a big part of it, and I've been watching a lot of keynotes. I'm about to do my first ever TED Talk, and so I've been watching a lot of his videos, kind of try and see the different styles of speech and whatnot. So I think, especially for this year, Steve Jobs.
Alhamdulillah, I talk to my family practically every day. I live with my family, so يعني alhamdulillah.
نفس جوابي صراحة الحمد لله.
This is going to be depressing. I live by myself now. I've started uni, so I unfortunately do not talk to my family every single day, even though I'd love to. I'd like to think that I try to keep in contact at least twice a week, which is very minimal, I know. But that is something I want to change for 2024. I want to speak to my family a lot more. But, you know, it's quite hard, the time zone difference, but inshallah. But I did call my family this morning. I called my mother. I called her for a few hours on FaceTime, so that was nice. But I need to do more.
I'd say yes, occasionally I do feel some sort of pressure.
إلى الآن أحس الضغط أحيانا، ولكن مو نفس الضغط اللي كنت أتكلم فيه في المقطع. الضغط من أول من ناحية المحتوى إني ودي أصنع محتوى أزين وأزين وأزين.
That's actually very interesting. I don't feel pressure anymore from videos or the media in general as I used to. But I have recently found, and I'm talking very recently, that I thrive under pressure. I create myself pressure and deadlines to kind of help maximize the output, both qualitatively and quantitatively, the types of output that I can make in regards to content, education and whatnot. You know, recently I'm actually quite proud. So I study finance here in London, and I didn't really have a mathematical background. And so for 2 weeks, I had to study 8 hours a day, that extreme pressure. And to me, alhamdulillah, I got amazing grades. I got the highest grades. To me, that pressure environment, I like it. I think that's where I don't like the word efficient. I am the best version of myself under pressure.
أحس سنة 2022 كانت سنة عظيمة صراحة، سنة مليانة، سنة عيت تقضي. فأحس نظرتي صراحة أن هذا الجو مختلف 180 درجة. أحس أني أقدر أتحمل الضغط أو حتى نفس الأفكار اللي كنت أقولها بذاك الوقت بشكل هنقول أقوى نوعا ما. ما وصلت للشيء اللي ودي أوصل عليه من هذه الناحية، لكن أحس أني تحسنت أكثر شوي.
I think I handle the pressure a lot better. 100% better. I think I'm just a lot more used to deadlines. I'm used to pushing myself against a wall and trying to figure the way out. I think I'm a lot better at doing that. So, yeah, I don't really struggle with pressure, alhamdulillah. Obviously, I do in something that's new to me. In new areas and things I haven't really delved in before, I think I still have somewhat of a pressure. I think when you truly understand that Allah has written you the best story for your life, I think life is a lot easier to live through, and there's a lot less pressure on you.
I do have a ring, and I swear to God, this ring has caused me so many problems. So many people think I'm married. I kid you not. So many, like, I went to the Maldives recently, and I posted a video with this ring in the Maldives. I was just wearing it normally, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations, you're married." Guys, I'm 15. I'm not married whatsoever.
I'm still not married. I still have the same exact ring on that I got all those years ago. It's a silver ring. It was a gift by my mother. It was a gift from my mother. But in uni, we recently had this, it wasn't really a debate, but basically I had to stand up and speak, and I was against a few people, and people had to vote on who to win. And I think I actually sealed the deal because I made a joke about this ring. The same joke. If it works, it works.
I've learned how crazy books can be. Books can be so magical.
أهمية الفريق بدون شك. أهمية وجود فريق لإنتاج عمل. يعني 2021 و2022 نصها صراحة عجزت أستمر بنفس الجودة والكمية اللي كنت أصنع من المحتوى بما أن كنت أشتغل لحالي. الحمد لله الحين عندي فريق أو حتى قاعد نزود ونكون من هذا الفريق بشكل أدق وأكبر. بس أهم شيء تعلمته في هذه السنة دي إذا ودك تشتغل وتسوي شيء عظيم لازم وجود فريق.
The most important thing that I learned last year, the importance of networking and knowing the right people. If you know the right people, the opportunities of things you can do increases tenfold.
I would absolutely love to meet Tom Scott. He's a British YouTuber who just makes absolutely random content. I love him so much. I've been watching him for years. He's also majored in linguistics.
كان ستيف ووزنياك هو المؤسس بشركة أبل مع ستيف جوبز. قابلته في الرياض، قابلته وجلست وسولفت معه، فيعني تحقيق حلم بدون مبالغة. لكن شخصية ودي أقابله في 2023 ممكن ريتشارد برانسون.
I would love to meet Sliman al-Rajhi. He's an old friend of my father, but I'd love to actually sit with him myself. I'd love to just ask him about his story. His story is very well known, how he started out with nothing and then became the owner of the largest bank in the Middle East. But I'd love to sit with him and actually just ask him about the details of that story. Because I feel like a lot of success stories, you kind of get to see them, how they shape. But if you want to go on a similar journey, I feel like sometimes some of those details aren't very clear. And it'll always not be clear because you'll have to live through them yourself. But I'd love to ask him about some of those details.
I'd love to visit Spain. My uncle went to Marbella, which is like the south of Spain on the coast, and apparently it's really, really lovely. The beaches are lovely, the people are nice. It would also be an incredible opportunity to practice my Spanish. So Spain.
للحين ما رحت إسبانيا، ولكن لقيت فرصة كبيرة إني أمارس إسبانيا يوم رحت قطر الكاس العالم. كثيرين الأرجنتينيين فكنا ندردش ونسولف في القطار وفي السكن. لكن في ناحية دولة ودي أزورها تايلاند. ودي أروح تايلاند. الكثير يمدحونه وكل اللي راح المالديف أو المناطق الجميلة البحرية كل يقول ما في مثل تايلاند. فدولة ودي أزورها تايلاند.
I'd love to go to China. I've made a lot of Chinese friends recently, a significant amount of Chinese friends, and I really want to go to China. I feel like China is an absolutely insane country. It has everything. It has the nature, has the infrastructure, has everything. So China, 100%.
My favourite book that I've read this year has to be Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. It's a biography of the life of Steve Jobs. Once again, a person I've admired ever since I was not young. I am young, but, you know, more younger, like even younger than I am now. And it was a very interesting book to read. It also does highlight how imperfect of a person he was and the skills that he had to reach what he did in his life. So certainly, Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson.
التركيز الفائق بمؤلف كريس بايلي. صراحة كتاب غير نظرتي للتركيز وللإنجاز. فكتاب جدا 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 جميل وأنصح أي واحد يقرأه.
My favorite book of 2023 is a book I would have never bought if I knew what it was about. It's a book called How Not to Be Wrong, and it's a book all about maths. Now, the book is called How Not to Be Wrong, and so I was in the library, this was in like the summer, I saw the book How Not to Be Wrong, I'm like, oh, amazing, a book about persuasion or negotiation, a business book, let me take it and I'll read it. Bought the book, went back, sat down, realised it's all about maths. And the nearest bookstore was it was kind of like a 20-minute walk, I wasn't bothered, so you know what, I'll read the first 20 pages. I go through it, and it's surprisingly interesting, and it's surprisingly entertaining, and I feel like it made me fall in love again with maths. When I was younger, I used to always love maths, and then I kind of fell out of love with it. And I think that book kind of reignited my love for maths. I study finance now, so it's a very mathematically based subject. So I'd 100% say How Not to Be Wrong is probably my favourite book of the year.
In 2021, I've really liked the colour white, as you can probably tell. I think it's a very minimalistic, simple colour, so certainly the colour white.
اللون المفضل في هذه السنة هي اللون الأبيض حتى الآن. مثل ما تشوفون الأبيض سبحان الله هي مو لون مفضل، هي لون راقي، هي لون يمشي مع كل شيء. الأبيض والأسود كل شيء هي أما أبيض أو أسود بالنسبة لي.
Okay, you know what? At least I said black. My favourite colour is still white. My phone is not with me. It is still white. I'm just wearing black today. It's a coincidence, okay? But white or black, they both work. Technically, white and black are shades. No, black is a shade. They're not colours. I'm still counting them as colours.
Happy, quick, simple.
ابتسامة، فائدة ومتعة.
You know, to me, this is actually the most interesting question because I think 3 words: inspiring, endearing, and worldly. Which is, I feel like, a very different answer from the other 2.
My philosophy is I try to simplify everything, and everything that I work on or create, I try to make it entertaining and beneficial, at least to a small degree.
شوية اليوم أفضل من كل شيء اليوم. فهذا محمد القفاري في 8 كلمات.
Certain books, certain words, and certain videos help change my life. I want to help bring those same videos and words and books to more people. And I want to help change their lives. I also want to spread Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabian culture, food, the Arabic language around the world. And alhamdulillah, I've done quite a good job of that. You know, alhamdulillah, I've done quite a job of that with Safir al-Mishlah. We recently tried to go to North Korea. We obviously went to South Korea. And alhamdulillah.
My approach to content creation. I don't really have an approach, it's somewhat random, but I will give advice for when I feel like writer's block, but for videos, I don't know, video maker block, content creator block. I just record random stuff. Let me give you an example. The other day, I just couldn't think of a video idea. So I sat down, I opened my phone, opened the camera, started recording. I took my bird Luna. I love Luna, she's absolutely amazing. But I held her, she was comfortable, don't worry, but I held her, and I pretended to eat her. And then I stopped the video. And then I went and got a glass of water, filled it up, took a spoon and started drinking from the cup, like soup. And then I kind of took some other random clips, threw it together when I got inside, added a weird script, and I made a video of pretending to be Venom. And it went very well. So sometimes just bodging together random ideas just really works for me.
لكن طريقتي في صناعة المقاطع تغيرت 180 درجة. إلى الآن ما أقول إني عندي طريقة واضحة لأني أنا أحب مقاطعي تكون مرنة، لكن بشكل عام أحاول إن كل مقطع يجاوب سؤال.
I think for me, is I pretend I'm talking to my friends. If my friends have an issue, if they have a question, I actually typically write that down on my phone and then I'll make a video about it. That's the way I go about it. Like, for example, recently I made a video about time blocking and time management. It's because I was speaking to Habib Nadiban, and he was asking, my life's a mess, how do I manage my time? And so I said, Google Calendar, you can do this and this and this. So I put that down on my phone and I actually made a video about it. I think that's how I go about it, you know, most of the time, especially for the shorter videos. I think I have to buy more gifts. Not living with them, obviously, is changed significantly. Having to put in time in my calendar. Because, you know, life just goes. You know, life really runs. Life really runs. And you start to appreciate the time you had with your parents when you used to live with them. And so I think the main change is that trying to buy gifts that I mean, I don't like anything I give, obviously, but, you know, and also trying to put the time I prefer every day, but, you know, as much as I can to really try and contact them. Currently, I'd say it's once or twice a week, which is, in my opinion, very bad. That needs to change. That's a stupid.
We need some of them to just, you know, sprinkle.
I don't go to the gym. I am very active though. I walk. I'm thinking of doing calisthenics, but not the gym. I don't like the gym, and it's a very unpopular opinion. I'll tell you next year why.
What is this craziest thing to happen in your year, in the future? I feel like this is time travel. This is crazy.
I don't know.
Say hi to my mother in the future, please.
أبشر.
أتوقع روحتي لكأس العالم. كأس العالم صراحة كانت شيء عظيم.
What was the craziest thing to happen? I went to North Korea, and that was pretty crazy. I got kicked out though. Anyways, I think 2024 is going to be an interesting year. It's going to be a year with incredible amounts of change in AI. So that is going to change everything. I mean, 2023 already had crazy changes in AI with GPT-4, with Google Bard, I think Gemini as well. And so there's still a lot of things on the horizon. You have video AI, a lot. We haven't really seen big jumps in that. 100% that's going to happen in 2024. I think we're going to have an increased context window. I know these are very technical terms, but basically, I think AI is going to have a greater capability of digesting longer pieces of content. But 100%, it's a year of incredible change for AI. That's without a doubt. It's a year of instability. And so I think it's a year that we really, as a people, as the whole of humanity, really need to try as hard as possible to come together for the sake of prosperity, for the sake of culture, for the sake of perseverance. I think it's very important. But I guess we'll see next year in 2024. محمد 2024 2024 God, I don't know. This really does feel like time travel because I completely forgot what I said in the other 2 videos. How's your YouTube channel? I think it's something I really want to work on this year. Try and start my YouTube channel because I've always been pretty good with the short form, but not the long form. How's uni? Is uni doing okay? I mean, I just started university recently and I'm quite happy actually. I've done quite well. But that was the time capsule interview for 2023. My name was محمد القفاري. I'm 17 years old still, and we'll see you next year. Thank you, and bye bye, Muhammad.